Good evening, everyone. It's Friday night here in Port Coquitlam, 7 p.m. It's Leah Dixon, and I'm just popping on to share some paper pumpkin alternatives. So earlier this week, I received my paper pumpkin, and we created these gorgeous cards. I'm absolutely loving this paper pumpkin, and I just wanted to show you some alternatives using mostly the product just that came in the paper pumpkin box, but we'll throw in a few extra, cardstock bases and stuff like that. So I'm going to move these out of the way, and we're going to get started right now. So the first card that I have to show you is one that's going to be using a bunch of the pieces from our paper pumpkin. Hi, Janice. So we've got this really nice rich raspberry base, and then we have this piece of cardstock with a really nice edge, and it actually had like a stamp on it so that you could stamp the rose image over top, but I didn't really like the coloring, so I'm actually going to flip that over, and we're going to use the white side of this. I've cut another piece here of, which one was this? This must have been the Blushing Bride, maybe? Blushing Bride? Yeah, so this is Blushing Bride cardstock, and so I've cut this, and I cut it just a little bit smaller than our base that we've got, so I'll just give you some actual measurements here. So 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 is the size I cut that, and we're actually going to emboss this piece. So I'm just gonna grab my my embossing machine and plates. All right, grab that, and going to grab one of our embossing folders here. I always forget the name of it, but it's the one that like looks like it reminds me of like a fancy pillow. I cannot remember the name of it right now. It's Friday afternoon during report card season. I cannot remember my own name. Here we go. So we're going to emboss this one just like that. So this one does have a pretty distinct pattern to it, so I do try to kind of keep it straight when I'm running it through. Now I always forget which plates to use with this. It's always kind of trial and error for me. And then, nope, that one's too much. So it's just our regular plate, a single regular plate with the embossing base. There we go. Run that through. All right, get that out of the way. Okay, so now we've got that done. We're going to pop this on here. And then I've also got a piece of rich raspberry. So I've kind of brought in 3 tones here. I just wanted something just a little bit darker for going behind here. So I'm going to actually glue these 3 layers together. And once I've done that, I'm going to put some ribbon on this card. So I'm using my liquid glue. You can use whatever adhesive you like best. I just like this one because it allows me to kind of fiddle with things and line them up, move them around. All right, there we go. So got that glued. Now, before I place this one, just going to double check on kind of placement of that. I want the rose to be kind of lower on my card, and I want that over a little bit, I think. All right, so just finger height. So just getting the placement of that, and then trying to get it back in the right spot. All right. So about finger's height over to the side. Awesome. Now before we attach this to our card front or put our rose on here, I am going to grab just some white twine, and I'm going to tie this around. So whenever I'm doing this and I want to tie a bow, I leave myself a generous portion of twine to tie my bow with. I decide where I'm going to want it. I put my thumb there. And then this one's interesting because it's got the scallops, so I really do have to kind of think about where I'm placing things because it's going to go into those scallop edges. And then I pull that down and I'll trim this so that I've got lots to work with. Twine is not very expensive, so I really am not too concerned about having too much. I'd rather have too much and have it be easy to tie my bow than have it be challenging. So I just wrapped that one around both strings so that I kind of get a pinch point. And then I'm going to just make a knot to begin with. Once I've got that knot, then I don't need to worry about keeping the tension in my twine. It's going to stay put while I make my bunny ears and tie my bow. There we go. And then we just fiddle with it until we get the right shape and placement that we're looking for. All right, so I hope you guys are all having a good Friday night. I just got home from work, went out for a quick walk, and now I'm in and going to do some crafting quickly here before we have dinner. So kind of a lazy Friday night for us. It's going to be dinner and a show, I think, or for me, dinner and report cards, but everybody else, dinner and a show. All right, there we go. So with that all trimmed up, I'm going to grab some dimensionals, and I'm going to attach my rose with dimensionals. I'm going to put some under the leaves, keep those well supported out on the ends. There we go. So Janice, you must be happy. You're another report card season going by where you get to sit back and relax. And your sister's done now too, which is so nice. All right, so I'm going to place this so that the bow is just sitting right there in the edge of our rose. All right. Now, I've actually not thought this through very well because I was going to put a sentiment up here, but now I think I'm going to have to maybe grab a banner or something. I wasn't going to put it on a banner, but I'm going to have to grab a banner to put some words on here. No, I bet you don't miss it. So let's see here. Perhaps that. I don't know, or maybe we're just going to do this one without any words. You know what? I think that's our plan. We're not going to put any words on this one. Works for me. Because, yeah, I was going to put some words up here, but I went ahead and embossed that, and so I'm not sure how that's going to work for stamping. So, since we're not going to put words on it at all, I'm ready to put this onto my card front. Like that. Glue that down all the way around, and then I'm going to add some embellishments. Now, they did have some really nice sequins in this kit. Yeah, I don't think it needs the words either, and that way I can stamp whatever sentiment I want on the inside when it's time to give this card away. And yeah, sometimes I don't actually like stamping like happy birthday or something on the front, because then I'm like, okay, well, that's what I was going to say on the inside. Now what do I put in there? So we'll just add a little bit here. We'll put a few pearls on. Oh, I had one. Where did it go? There it is. And actually, there we go. No, that one's stuck. Not moving it. Okay. And maybe come up here a bit. Yeah, just like that. So add a few there, and then maybe a few smaller ones down here. All right, and there you have it. So there's our first paper pumpkin alternative card. And like I said, if I hadn't embossed this, then I was going to actually stamp the happy birthday on here from the Happy Birthday to You stamp set that coordinates with this paper pumpkin. So I was going to put the happy birthday just across there, but since I embossed that, that's I'm not going to risk it. So I think it looks great just as it is. Might need to come back in here with a bit more glue though. And put some glue on there so that that sticks down. There we go. I was like being cautious, not coming too close to the edges because of the eyelets. I didn't want to get glue through them, but I guess I didn't use enough there. All right, so there is our first paper pumpkin alternative. The second card that I've got for you today is actually a fun one. We're going to use one of the cards, but we're going to actually cut it up so that we're actually putting the parts of the card onto our own Whisper White base. So I've got a Whisper White base here, and then I've got this really fun, like that folded card that that clipped in. I've got that. We're actually going to cut this up and use just the bits. So I'm going to grab my little paper trimmer. This is the fun little paper trimmer that comes in the starter kit. So this is like the little freebie. We're going to line this up so that this is, I'm going to say about 1 3/4. And we're just going to snip off that extra bit. We're going to save that because we can use that on another card later. And then we're going to turn this around. And because our card is 4 inches across, and I want this, or sorry, 4 1/4 inches across, I want this to be a little bit smaller, but big enough that this is going to fit. So let's see. Got to make sure we do this right. So yeah, I'd say 3 3/4 is going to be a good size. And so we'll save that other part as well because we can use that again. So we've got this 2-tone DSP. I'm actually going to turn it around so it goes this way. And then I've got this little cake piece that came out of the paper pumpkin as well. We're going to use those together and mount that right onto there. Now before I do that, was there anything else? Oh, yes, there was. Sorry. And I've got this little piece of seafoam cardstock that I cut out using the stitched hexagons. And so I actually only need half of this. So I'm going to cut it in half so I can make another one of these cards. So let's see. This is 3 1/4. So just over 1 1/2 will be 1 1/2 plus a little bit. There we go. It's not really important that we're exact because we're just letting a tiny bit of this poke out the bottom. So I'm going to actually look at that, place that right about there. And just so that I keep that all like kind of in the right spots, I'm just going to grab little piece of tear and tape, and I'm going to run that across the top of this little piece, peel that off, and then I'm actually going to turn it around and do that. So that's going to allow me to line it all up nicely so that when, oh, did I do that backwards? I did, because I wanted that. Oh, darn it. Okay, no worries, because that's going to peel off. Oh, not just fine, but fine enough. So I actually want it to be like this with that there. So for lining it up, I'm going to do like this. There we go. All right, figured it out. It's just a matter of getting it positioned properly because I want it kind of offset on that divide between the two colors. And I want to make sure it's actually going to fit on the card and not stick out too far. So that's about right. And then I want it offset about that far. All right. Okay. There we go. So now when I put that down, that will, oh, it's still too far over. Oh my goodness, I am not having luck tonight. All right. Let's do it like that. Okay, 3rd time's a charm, right? And that's even straight. Okay, so now we're going to grab our liquid glue. And, oh, is that straight? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm going to grab my liquid glue and I'm going to glue this whole piece down onto my card front. All right. And a little bit down there. All right. So, oh, move that up just a little bit. There we go. Okay, didn't quite get that straight. There, that's better. So that's the joys of the liquid glue, is I can actually slide that over just a little bit when I don't get it lined up properly. All right, so now we're going to stamp our cake. And I am going to stamp the center of my cake with the Rococo Rose, just like we did yesterday, or Monday, I guess it was, when we created the original paper pumpkin. So I'm going to grab that. I'm just going to give that a little clean. It was sitting on my desk all week. It's a little bit dusty. So clean that up just a bit. And now I'm going to stamp that in the Rococo Rose, making sure I get a full coverage. There we go. And line that up. Oh, that wasn't quite lined up. Close enough though. All right, going to close that up now. And for this one, I am going to add just a little bit more color to my cake. So I'm going to grab, I've got the Rococo Rose Light Blender pen, and I'm going to grab that and just color in this candle and some of the sprinkles on top. And I'm also going to grab that little bit that I didn't quite get with my stamp. All right, and do the little sprinkles. You could always switch to the thinner end for doing these sprinkles if you wanted to have a bit more control. There we go. So just add in a little bit there. And I'm also going to add in the candle. And I figured out this yellow I thought was going to be too bright, and I still think it is. So what I'm going to do, oh, actually that isn't. Maybe it's a little too bright. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've colored that in, I'm going to come in with my color lifter and just take away a little bit of the color. So it's now really muted yellow. Okay, so I just think that that's a little bit more along the lines of what I wanted. So now I'm going to attach some, oh, the 3 stripes would make a cute border, Dennis. That would be awesome. So I'm going to attach some ribbon to this, but I want it to be really secure on my card. I don't like flimsy cards where pieces fall off and stuff. So I'm going to grab a hole punch. Hopefully that one's large enough. And I'm actually going to punch 2 holes side by side. We used to have a little hole punch that did like 2 little slits side by side, and it worked out really nicely. We don't have that anymore. So just done 2 holes side by side. I'm going to go in the front and out the back with this beautiful petal pink organdy ribbon. Love this stuff. And it's okay, I'm fraying the ends and it's all good. So I've gone through with quite a bit, way more than I actually need. But that's okay, because I want to be able to have enough ribbon here to actually work with it and create a bow. So I've gone in like that. And I do want my bow to kind of be sideways because I don't want it to cover up my cake. So I'm not worried about the direction of these holes and that my bow is going to be sideways. That's actually what I'm going for. And I'm going to tie that bow, just again doing the bunny ears and tying it and then kind of fiddling with it, bringing it in and out. So I'm wasting quite a bit on the one side, but I'm going to be able to cut my other side, so I save a whole bunch on that. All right, so that's a good size for me. Now I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors and I'm going to trim that up on both sides. Okay, having a good pair of scissors for cutting ribbon is really important. The snips do work. You just really want to make sure you have a nice sharp pair. The more you cut paper and stuff with your scissors, the less I find that they cut the ribbon nicely. So I kind of always keep one pair of scissors reserved for ribbon cutting. All right, so that bow's a little bit larger than I think I want for this card, so I am going to bring it down a notch, pulling those ends in quite a bit. That way when I pull to tighten them, they won't get too big. There we go. And then I'm going to trim up those ends again. Just make them the length I need them. I don't like it when ribbon sticks off the end of the card. It gets messy when you try and put it into an envelope. All right, so with that done, I am now going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Here they are. Got too many there. All right, pop those on the back. And there we go. Put that down. And now our finishing touch on this card is we're actually going to add a sentiment, and we're going to add it with one of the nice banners that came in the set. And I'm going to bring it down a bit so it kind of comes off the bottom of this cake piece. I was actually thinking, no, I do like it down off the bottom. All right, so we aren't going to attach that yet, though. We need to do our stamping. And I'm going to stamp again with... where did it go? Ah, there we go. I'm going to grab the word celebrate, and I'm going to actually stamp this in the Rococo Rose, I think. Actually, it might look nice in the green. Let's try that. Let's see. Where did all of my books this right size go? Can't find one quite the right size, so we'll use one a little too big. That'll be fine. So I'm going to grab... Now, it is the soft seafoam, but I'm wondering if that's going to be too light and if I should step it up a notch and use the Pear Pizzazz. So we're just going to do a sample there. Oh yeah, that's way too light. Never see that. So Pear Pizzazz is kind of like the next darker level of that really nice soft green. That's really nice. And so I think, yeah, doing the Celebrate in green is going to tie it in, since that cake is printed in green as well. So Celebrate, like that. So that was Pear Pizzazz that we used to stamp that. And then to attach this, I'm going to actually use more dimensionals. I'm going to use the mini ones because they fit a lot nicer on the back of these kinds of things. And I'm going to put them closer to the top because this is kind of hanging off the bottom. So with those at the top where it says Celebrate, I'm going to do that, peel that, and then let that hang off the side and the bottom a little bit. All right, so there is our second Paper Pumpkin alternative card. So tying in just a few pieces that weren't in the kit, but mostly using the Paper Pumpkin stuff, and then we've got the gorgeous envelope to go with that. Oh, and we have the envelope that matches that one as well. I'll pull that out so I don't forget. If I don't package them together, then I will definitely forget to use them. All right, so that one has the nice, so it's got the very soft pink again, and then the rich raspberry inside. So there's two of our cards. And now I have a third one. I was going to make the shaker card for you, but I feel like this video is getting a little bit long. So I'll probably pop on tomorrow when I need a break from report cards, and I'll show you guys how to make the shaker card. But I do have one more alternative card to show you tonight. This one's a quick and easy one, and it actually is using the birthday cake from the Coordinating Happy Birthday to You stamp set. And one of the beautiful popped up Celebrate, the shiny words that were in the Paper Pumpkin, and some of the sequins from the Paper Pumpkin. So what we're going to do is I actually really liked the idea of stamping in green, just like we did with the birthday cake. It just makes the image a little bit softer. So I'm going to grab my Pear Pizzazz to stamp my cake. So ink that up in Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to stamp my cake over to the side and quite close to the top. So this is just a layered piece of cardstock cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I keep a stack of these beside my desk, just so that I've always got nice layers ready to go. So I've got that stamped, and then I'm going to grab a piece of, this is the Seafoam cardstock, and we're going to put that on there. We're just going to make sure that it's put up high enough that our Celebrate will fit and that we're not showing off the bottom of that cake. There we go. So I'm placing it basically so that we can't see the base of the cake anymore, just as high as I possibly can. There we go. So before I actually glue that down though, I'm going to stamp some words on there. So I have oh, I have a whole bunch of stuff stuck to this block. Let's get that out of the way. I have "You're a Great Reason To," and then we'll add in the word "Celebrate." So I want to stamp this kind of center and very far over to the left when I do, and I'm going to stamp it in the Pear Pizzazz again. So ink that one up. And I'm going to turn this to the side because I just find that easier for lining things up. Oh, and get that card out of the way. There we go. So there. All right. So we've got that stamped. Move this out of the way. Move that to the side. All right. So now I can glue these bits down. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue again and cover the back of this. It doesn't have to be a thick layer. I just put like a little dot on the tip of this and then spread it along. So I've got a thin layer of glue there. And then as high up as I can without seeing the base. There we go. Oh, that was not nearly as straight as I thought when I stamped that. Oh well, it's done now. And then I'm going to grab my word "Celebrate" and peel the back off. And so this is so nice that it's already kind of popped up, but it's got that full support underneath it. All right, so great reason to celebrate. There we have that. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to use, let's see, I think I'm actually going to use felt pens to color this. That way I can get the really light color that I'm looking for. So I've got the Petal Pink in here, and this is actually the one I want. This is the blushing part. So although the ribbon and everything matches with the Petal Pink, I find the Petal Pink is just a little bit brown when you use it. So I'm going to come in and color these with the Blushing Bride instead. And color my roses. And then I think I'm going to use the Seafoam to color in the leaves on these. Okay. So I'm not the best with coloring with markers. I do truly love my blends, but let's see if we can make this work. So just like with the blends, with the markers, you can go back into spaces and make it a little bit darker in one area than another and get some of that highlighting going on. All right, there we have it. All right, so one of our roses. Okay, so sorry, while I'm coloring, I'm just down a little bit lower, so if there's any comments, I can't actually read them, but I'll be there in a moment to see if there's any comments. All right, I'm going to come in and do these little guys as well. All right. So this is such a beautiful stamp set, and I find you can create such a different look depending on the colors that you choose. So we're using some really soft colors, really kind of delicate feel. I've done this in like bright purples and stuff, and then it's very festive and reminds me of like the birthday cakes that my grandmother would get for us when we were younger. So really nice, versatile set. And I am still waiting on my dies. I finally placed my order for the month, and so those are coming. I'd put it all together and it's been sitting in my inbox, so finally sent that off. All right, a few more there. Excellent. So that's that, and then I'm going to grab the Pear Pizzazz and color in our leaves. So it's funny, this is a Whisper White that I'm stamping on, but this color combo almost makes it look like it's vanilla. Like it really softens and creates like a nice romantic color combo here. Love these together. All right. Now we've got our centers to do, and this is actually where I'm going to bring in the petal pink to do the centers. It's just a little bit more, I don't know if it's like orangey or what, but it makes for a very nice center. And then finally, I'm going to get some mint macaron and just do the base of this card, because it's got like a little bit of a blue tinge. I probably should have done this before I glued everything down so I wouldn't get some on my cardstock. And I'm going to go over these lines as well, just with that little bit of a blue tinge. It's funny, mint macaron's totally not a blue color, but just when you put it with the seafoam, it does get a little bit of a blue look to it. All right, so that's our coloring done. And now we're just going to put this onto our card front, and again I'm going to use some dimensionals to attach this, and then we'll add some sequins, and we're done our third paper pumpkin alternative. So there's really so much you can do with this paper pumpkin set. I am really loving it. All right, get rid of those. Okay, that, and that one's done. All right, so bring this in, and you know what, just before I put that down, oh darn it, I was just thinking that using the trio punch might be really nice on the corners of this. I might have to make another one and do the trio punch just to put a little bit of something fancy in the corners, but that's okay. Have enough stuff here to make another card, so I'll probably make another one and do that. For now though, I'm going to throw just a little bit of the sequins on here. Just a few up there I think would be good, and then maybe a couple down here by the Celebrate. Ugh, come on. A couple down there. Bring these in closer, like that. Yeah, I think that's good. So we'll grab our mini glue dots, and this is where the paper pumpkin ones come in really handy, because they are just a little bit tinier than the regular glue dots, so they work a little bit better with these small ones. Oh, thank you so much, Janice. Yeah, I don't know, I liked the ones that they provided for us, but I just felt like they were a little bit plain and relying a lot on the Happy Birthday to You stamp set, and I wanted to really play with the paper pumpkin kit itself. And so I am going to come back on sometime this weekend. I'm sorry I cannot really promise you guys when, because life is a little unpredictable around here with so many kids. But I am going to come back on at some point this weekend and show you guys how to do a shaker card. And no, it's not the shaker card that is on the sample in your paper pumpkin. I thought that one was a little plain. So we're going to do something just a little bit fancier. Uh-oh, I just lost a sequence. There's one, and I don't know where the other one went. I'm going to have to grab a new one. Darn it. Oh well, there's lots. Okay, so one more sequence here, and yeah, so if you did not get this month's paper pumpkin, I am terribly sorry to say that I do not have any more left. But you don't want to miss out on the March paper pumpkin. I can tell you that. It's going to have an extra stamp set in it because it's a 7-year anniversary for paper pumpkin, and it is I just have a feeling it's going to be a great one. I love the color combos that are in it, and it's all to do with springtime and showers and stuff. And I love that little umbrella stamp set that's in the mini catalog right now. I'm hoping it's going to be something along those lines. So that is going to be, I'm excited to see it. And yeah, it comes with the extra stamp set that apparently is larger than their normal paper pumpkin stamp sets. It almost sounds like it's going to be like some kind of a background stamp. So very interested to see what that is. So you don't want to miss out, because as you can see, the paper pumpkins are really gorgeous. Here are my 3 alternatives created with our paper pumpkin. I'm just going to grab another envelope. So I think for that last one, I'm going to throw that in with the green one as well. So I'll put that with the green envelope. And there you have it. So 3 alternatives, and yeah, that's my video for tonight. So you guys have a great Friday night, and I'll see you later with a shaker card. Bye-bye.